So let me just try to start really quietly, okay? So, the reason why I started to do this PhD project and trying to find out how to incorporate and how to use and how to facilitate microtones in the style of bebop is due to my history as a musician, as a freelance musician. So I got interested in microtones when I was like beginning of my bachelor studies, and heard this saxophone player who was using quarter tones, and so I went home and tried to play quarter tones myself. And all of this, I started to use some compositions and composed with my band using a regular piano, regular bass, mostly jazz compositions. Not really rooted in the American jazz tradition, yes, a little bit, but I don't know. And then I got interested in the work of the spectralists, like Grisé, and also the music of Harry Partch, and got to love this just intonation sound. Like that. We're almost like entering the area of blues now, which of course I will come to later. And I started to program a microtonal keyboard in which I would put all different kinds of scales, overtones, using several ratios, and would use this in my music. And compose and improvise with it. And yet at the same time I always felt the urge to use these microtones in a typical jazz setting, bebop setting. You know, when you would like go to a session and you would like to try to incorporate microtones in a meaningful way, playing over the jazz standard, over functional harmony, basically everything which is based on the circular fifths and all these kinds of things. So how can you do that? How could you achieve that? And this kept me like very busy for many years now. And now I tried out to find out how to teach that. And if other instruments can also do the same thing, and if and how students can be taught to do that, and what it does to their ears, what it does to their understanding of jazz, of the history of jazz, of actually what they are doing. And I found it really interesting to analyze early blues, because blues is a music I really like and enjoy, which is a part of jazz history for sure. And there are all these different jazz intonation sounds and various intervals that are typically bluesy and that framed the whole music of the 20th century that I do not hear in jazz a lot these days when I talk to my students, when I play with them. Like, let me give you one example. There's this very famous recording I like by Charlie Patton and Bertha Lee. And we should actually hear something now. Could you please try to turn on? No, I think it's plugged correctly. Same setup as before, so it should work. Don't worry, it's okay.
Is it your computer not muted? Just to be sure.
It's not muted, and we do bypass it. And move forward, because what I did, I made an AI split, and just what we hear now is just the guitar voice of this recording, with like a little bit vocals in between. And when you put this in Melodyne and analyze what it is, you can see that like the guitar is tuned in just fifths, with just intonation, just EQ thirds, and we find all kinds of embellishments in the voice at the same time. So the same split, but only vocals now. So the question is actually, what is a pitch? If I play settled, and I'm dealing with the question, okay, what is intonation in early blues? What is intonation in jazz? And today we have this possibility to actually analyze through software such as Melodyne and make the intonation curve visual and contribute a little bit to the literature that is already existing. So that because there's plenty of literature on how jazz and blues and intonation has been used, and long story short, I'm interested, and the more I do this project, it kind of separated in between what I do as an artist, what I practice on the saxophone myself, what I compose, what I perform, and what I teach the students. Because I'm gathering my data by interviewing and conducting rehearsals with ensemble at the Music and Arts University in Vienna. And I do have them for one semester only. And most of the time they do not have any experience with microtones, and they learn to play regular bebop, and applying these techniques to their style is like kind of hard, so I'm trying to find meaningful ways in order for them to explore microtonality and actually learn something. Which means my expertise that I gained over the years is directly helping me in order to ask the right questions and trying to teach them in order to progress and to learn something about the heritage of jazz and about the instrument, about intonation, train their ears, their understanding of theory and so on. And just a very quick way that I found really interesting was that bebop, I mean whatever bebop means, it's not really clear what the term bebop actually means. It's considered to be a style of jazz as being played by Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie and Thelonious Monk and whatnot, but let's not go into that now. It is really considered a key subject in jazz education all over the world. And it's a fast style that deals with chromatics. So when you ask people, what is bebop, what is jazz about, they say, oh, it's very chromatic. Then they say it's a very chromatic music, like. It was just 12 tones now, but using very chromatics and passing tones. And one technique that I found interesting, that I've been practicing over the past 15 years, is you take these approach notes, all the chromatic approach notes, and alter them by a quarter tone or by an eighth of tone, and you go. You go up. And you take like every third and every major second and retune it in terms of just intonation and so on. And I tried to find a way how to apply this to the students, and we were experimenting a lot with like two keyboards, tuned quarter tone apart. So like one keyboard here and another keyboard here. It works very well for them because they can relate to what they have already learned and just like apply it. But through the interviews I have been conducting with the students, I found out that this may not necessarily be the best and most convenient way. So I collaborated with a friend of mine, Hans Tammel from the NYU, and he programmed me a keyboard which allows you to do this. So when you ever press a half tone, you get a quarter tone in between. And I think this is a really cool idea, because when we tried this out with the students, they were like, oh, okay, cool, now I can actually see the quarter tone, and actually when I play blues, and I would play, let's say, the major 6 and the minor 7 at the same time to get this bluesy feeling, what a lot of pianists do, then they can actually play the tone they hear in their head. Get like this little more bluesy feeling. And as you may have realized, you can put different scales on top, underneath. I was just using the just intonation scale based in C. You can switch the tonic by using a MIDI switch. And there's tons of possibilities just to play around and to find out like what can we do in order to achieve this kind of sound that we hear, and to expand the language of what jazz is about, but what has been used in jazz a lot. Let me play a little bit more, and I think Viertelstunde ist schon vorbei, oder was dann? I have a pretty good sense of timing, like 15 minutes is over now. Mm-hmm.